The next topic that I want to discuss with you is the concept of an annuity. An annuity versus a perpetuity. Now, what is an annuity? Let's say that you get a certain amount of money every day for 10 days. That's an example of an annuity. An annuity is a certain amount of money that you get on a regular basis for a certain period of time. Another example of an annuity is, I'm going to give you $100 a year every year for 20 years. Basically, with an annuity, there has to be a stopping point. There has to be a time when the money stops. It's not coming anymore, and it also has to be very consistent. The same time over and over again, and the same amount of money over and over and over again. If I said, for 10 days, I'm going to give you $100, and then $200, and then $500, and then $800, that's not an annuity because it's going up and down, you see. Also, if the time keeps changing, like if one time it's a week, and then it's a day, and then it's a month, that's not an annuity either. An annuity is a certain amount of money given every period for a certain amount of time and then stops at some point. Let me go deeper and talk about another example so you can really see it. Another example of an annuity might be an annual annuity, where you get money every year. So $20 a year, every year, for 10 years. That's why I use the word period. And I have to be careful that I explain it the right way for you so you understand what I'm saying. Basically, a period is a certain amount of time. The period can be a day, it can be an hour, it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year. An annuity is when you're getting a certain amount of money every period for a certain number of periods. The period can be 10 days, it can be 10 years, it can be 5 months, it can be 8 months, it can be something like that. That's how an annuity works. And the thing is, an annuity stops at some point. It's always supposed to stop. Now, a perpetuity is different from an annuity. A perpetuity doesn't stop. A perpetuity goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. It's what they call perpetual. That's very, very different. A perpetuity can be worth a lot more money than you may actually pay for it. Because what happens with annuities and perpetuities is that sometimes when you invest, you can actually buy an annuity. You can buy a perpetuity. For example, I might say to you, if you give me $1,000, I'll give you $100 a year for the next 25 years, right? You may try to figure out if it's worth it or not, right? On one hand, you may say, okay, $100 a year for 25 years, that's $25,000, and you're only charging me $1,000. That's a pretty good deal. But you don't really know, and I'm going to go into detail later on and explain it to you. It all really depends on the circumstances. Ultimately, annuities and perpetuities are good if you want to invest in something that's going to give you consistent cash flow. Like for example, do you think you can look at your business a little bit like an annuity? Not quite, because what you're doing in a business when you invest is you're saying, I'm going to put a certain amount of money in today so I can have a consistent income over a long period of time. The only difference between your business cash flow or the money coming from your business and an annuity is that it's not going to be the same. An annuity has to be the same all the time, whereas in your business, the amounts are going to go up and down. However, it's still all similar that you're spreading money out, you're getting money every month or every year for a long period of time. Another good example of an annuity in real life is when people win the lottery. When they win the lottery, they give them two options. They usually say, would you like all of your money now, or would you like an annuity for 30 years and we'll give you a certain amount of money every year? Some people pick the lump sum, the total amount today, and some people want the annuity. Some people say, oh, I don't need it all at once. I'd like to have some guaranteed income. It all kind of depends on how you look at it. There's no right way to look at an annuity. Some people don't want annuities because they want all of their money now. However, some people do want their annuities because they want their money to spread out. Keep that in mind. Another example of an annuity could be like when you get older and you leave money for your children. You might leave them a trust fund. A trust fund is where you put money somewhere where they can't really get into it, but it's there for them, and you might tell the people who manage the trust fund, like a trustee, okay, I want you to give my children an annuity. I want you to pay them $5,000 a year, every year, for 10 years. And then maybe when it's done, you can give them the rest of the money. That's another example where an annuity might come into play. Remember, annuity versus perpetuity. Perpetuities go on forever. Annuities have a finite stopping point. When I say finite, finite means that it stops at some point. Infinite means that it goes on forever. So that's the difference between finite and infinite, annuity versus perpetuity. Also, you might hear people sometimes use the word perpetual. Perpetual means going on forever. So please keep that in mind.